Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Rokket Yugioh deck profile for post-Savage Strike. Wanted to do an update to this deck for quite some time. I know I did a video a little while back, just making a full update on the deck, but with the release of Savage Strike, we received some new support that helps the Rockets with their newest mechanic, which is with the Borreload Savage Dragon being able to synchro summon. It's a really cool aspect of the deck, so very excited to bring the deck profile. Probably won't do another one until the release of Dual Power, just because of the link monsters we'll be receiving in that set as well. Very, very helpful just for all the different plays that you'll be able to do with the different link monsters that we'll need for the Rokket deck. But until then, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the Rokket monsters, I run 3 Magna Rokket Dragon. For those of you that don't know, the Rockets all involve effects with the different Boral monsters, being able to target them, then destroying them via their own effect, and then having another effect that'll affect your opponent. I don't know how many times I said effect in that one line, but with Magna Rokket Dragon, when a link monster effect is activated that targets this face-up card, it's a quick effect. You can destroy this card, then send one card on the field, it's a monster, to the graveyard, and then during the end phase, if this card's in the graveyard because it was destroyed on the field by battle or card effect and sent there this turn, you can special summon one Rokket monster from your deck except Magna Rokket Dragon. You can only use each effect of Magna Rokket Dragon once per turn. So after you get that destruction, being able to special summon the different Rokket monsters off of each other is very helpful just to keep monster consistency. The only way you'll really, lose those special summons is if you use them for a link summon, but being able to go for your big link 4 plays with all the Rockets you build up, it's definitely a key way of how to do it in the deck. I also run 3 Metal Rokket Dragon. I would say, the next strongest one in line, with this one being able to take out columns with its destruction effect. And basically, you want to just set it up in the proper column after you special summon it, because then once you get your link monster to destroy it, you'll be able to take out a good amount of cards in that one column. So very, very powerful effect, as long as you know the placement, or at least you know what kind of deck you're going up against with your opponent. I also run 3 Auto Rokket Dragon with this one. If this card, you can send one spell or trap on the field to the graveyard when it is destroyed by the effect of a link monster that targets this card. And then you have that special summon again with this one. So the spell and traps, I like mixing it back and forth with Magna Rokket to take care of the monsters and Auto Rokket to take care of the spell and traps. So you really keep your opponent on their toes depending on which ones you get out on the field for these special summons. I just like the 3 of each of these just to keep consistency, because you're always going to have columns to pop, you always have monsters, and you'll always have spell and traps to take care of also. And then for the lower numbers, I run 2 Shell Rokket Dragon. Still a very good card. When this card is destroyed by a link monster that targets it on the field, you can destroy one monster in the column that this card was, and if you do, destroy any monsters in that card's adjacent zones. During the end phase, if this card's in the graveyard, you get the same special summon. So a little more situational than, I would say, your Metal Rokket Dragon, but still very helpful against decks that really swarm the field fast with different monsters. But like I said, if there are not any monsters adjacent, you won't get the effect off as often, but still helps in some situations. Plus with 2000 defense, it's a good one to special summon out and then just sit on for defensive plays. And I also run 1 Anis Rokket with this one. It is basically an effect veiler, and it prevents your opponent's monsters from attacking, so you really can shut down all their plays with this one. But it's one that doesn't really take care of your opponent's answers, so I don't really like to run too many other copies of this card because of that reason. That's why I just decided to stick it at 1. If I need it, I can special summon it off of my other Rockets during the end phase and have it on the field to make use of. Plus 2200 defense, making it the strongest defense-wise of all the Rokket monsters. Mostly of the time, I end up going into this one if I don't have another link play to go into with the deck. So very, very helpful for sure there. And it's also a link Karibo target if need be, just to set up some more monsters to reuse in the graveyard, with the process of also getting a link monster on the field. And I also run 2 of the new Rokket Synchron. When this card is normal summon, you can target 1 level 5 or higher Dark Dragon monster in your graveyard, special summon it in defense, negate its effects, destroy it during the end phase. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except Dark monsters. So it really does help with your different plays you can do for your basically your synchro plays with the deck, being Borreload, Savage Dragon, your main one to go to with this card. The revival of your high-level dragon monsters that we run in the deck as well is very, very helpful, just to keep the plays consistent with this card. Of course, it has to be normal summon, just remember that, but also being that tuner and also a rocket monster is a great addition to the deck for sure. And then I also run 2 Speed Burst Dragon. Very, very helpful card. It's an interesting addition, not being a rocket monster, but when you take effect damage, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand, then inflict damage to your opponent equal to the damage you took. And if you do, you gain life points equal to half the damage you inflicted. And when this card is tribute summon, you can add 2 rocket monsters with different names from your deck to your hand. And you can only use each effect of Speed Burst Dragon once per turn. But when you're going up against effect damage decks, it really does come in handy for sure. But I also just like it for the fact that you have plenty of rockets on the field that you can just keep going into to have a monster to tribute for Speed Burst. Then just being able to tribute summon this card out and then add the rocket monsters, then easily special summon them to the field with cards like Boot Sector Launch, means that you just have options to go for on the field with this card. And it also just works really well with Rocket Synchron, being able to summon it back to the field with Rocket Synchron, and also being able to search out Rocket Synchron obviously with this card. And if you search out other ones like Anist Rocket, you have your requirements right there for your Borreload Savage Dragon. And I also run 2 Gateway Dragon with this one. It's an easy special summon from the hand. All your opponent has to do is have a Link monster, and then you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Dark Dragon from your hand as well. Another good one that I like, I decided to drop it down to 2 just for the fact that I was testing out Speed Burst and Rocket Synchron's numbers in the deck also. But very, very helpful with the special summons you can do. It doesn't have to take up your normal summon, so you'll get an additional one and at least 3 monsters on the field that you can use for your plays. And then I also run 1 Hibernation Dragon, just another one that helps with the, when it's normal summon, you can recover your dragon monsters in your graveyard that are level 4 or lower. But I really like it, setting it up with Dragon Shrine in the deck, being able to basically special summon back your Link monster on the except the turn it was sent to the graveyard just by banishing this card. So you can make reuse of your big Boral monsters that we run in the deck if your opponent ended up destroying them, just being able to get them back onto the field. So very, very nice there for sure. Even if you normal summon it, then just use it for a Link summon. You'll get in the graveyard the next turn, be able to use its effect. And then to finish up the dragons, 1 Destrudo, the Lost Dragon's Frison, just very, very helpful with this card being able to special summon itself back from the graveyard. It's another potential Dragon Shrine target with that if you don't end up going for Hibernation Dragon. And then also helpful if you can set up the monsters correctly with your Synchro Summons, since it is a tuner after all as well. And lastly, 1 Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. This one, you know, banish a dragon, special summon it out, and then just have the special summon option from your hand or graveyard with this one, being able to reuse your dragons in there also, and then just fill up the field very, very fast for your Link summons. And that is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 3 Quick Launch. Quick Play spell, you special summon 1 rocket monster from your deck, but it cannot attack. Also destroy it during the end phase. Doesn't limit you to your tribute, so if you can get out that rocket monster, you can then tribute it for Speed Burst, then get your search off. So very, very helpful with this for sure. If not, it's destroyed during the end phase, and you'll get off your rocket special summon. So definitely like running through this card for that reason alone. I also run 3 Squib Draw now. I've actually bumped this up to 3 with the more and more rocket monsters we will get. Counting Rocket Synchron, obviously, just have that easy target 1 rocket monster you control, destroy it, and if you do, draw 2 cards. You can only activate 1 Squib Draw per turn, but the draw consistency definitely does help, and the fact that you destroy the rocket monster just means that you'll have more effects to go off as well. And we were speaking of it earlier, but I also run the 3 Boot Sector Launch. This field spell, being able to special summon up to 2 rockets with different names from your hand and defense. You activate 1 of the effects per turns, or you can special summon rockets from your graveyard with different names up to the difference of monsters you and your opponent have. So if your opponent is basically, overpowering you with their monsters, this card really does come in handy as long as you built up your graveyard with all the different rocket monsters. If not, the hand special summon, like I said, with Speed Burst, really does come in handy also just for consistent special summons for your Link plays. And I also run 2 Boral Regenerators. Still like this equip spell. You activate this card by targeting 1 rocket monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and equip it with this card, but banish it when this card leaves the field. If this card is sent to the graveyard because the equipped monster is destroyed, you can draw 1 card. You can only use each effect of Boral Regenerator once per turn. So yes, the card will be banished, but you have that draw consistency, which comes in handy, and just being able to easily special summon them out from the graveyard definitely does come in handy, especially since we need more and more special summon options, since we no longer have Soul Charge, which worked really well for special summoning in the deck, but still not completely out of the rut, since we still have special summons options like these, Boot Sector Launch, and obviously Monster Reborn. Run 1 of this in the deck just to help for more consistent ones. If you don't go for the effect monsters, you have Link summon options also, being able to set up your arrows on the field depending on how you want them. And also 2 Terraforming Boot Sector Launch, just really important for your plays. You want to search it out as fast as you can. Most likely will be a card your opponent tries to take care of as well, so just being able to have multiples to use is helpful. And I also run 1 Foolish Burial and 1 Dragon Shrine. I run 1 of each just because Dragon Shrine is a once per turn, so having 2 different options available to you, 2 mill cards to the graveyard, definitely does come in handy. And then lastly, I run 3 Allure of Darkness. Decide not to run any more traps in the deck and just solely rely on the special summons that you can use with your rocket monsters. So no turret Link anymore, but Allure of Darkness, just more consistency with Squib Draw for sure, just going through until you get the cards you need for your plays. And that is it for the main deck. When I move on to the extra, I run the Boral lineup, so 1 Boral Load, 1 Boral Sword, and 1 Boral Guard Dragon, being kind of a mix between different plays, with Boral Sword having the 2 attacks, Boral Guard playing a little more defensively, and Boral Load being able to take your opponent's monsters, all having the target effects to work very well with the rocket monsters for their own destruction. So running all 3 consistently with the deck definitely does help for your plays. And I also run 1 Star Yugioh and 1 Topologic Bomber Dragon, just more Link 4 plays to go for sure. With each of these Link 4, you have different power options, just drawing through the deck or just destruction of monsters on the field. And then for some Link 3 plays, I run 1 Topologic Trisbana and 1 Triple Burst Dragon. I end up going into these a lot just because Link 3s can be more easy to get out than Link 4s, so very, very helpful with their own effects as well. I also run 1 Mini Boral Dragon. This is probably going to come out for Booster Dragon when we do end up getting the card. But till then, just another Link 2 option. I like the arrow setup with this card. And I also run 1 Twin Triangle Dragon. You need 2 level 4 or lower dragon monsters, except tokens. And it helps because of the fact that you can pay 500 life and target 1 level 5 or higher monster in your graveyard to special summon it, which we have a great new target for that now, being Speed Burst Dragon. So really, really like its effect for that, just being able to give us more resources for the Link summon. And I also run 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Wee Witch Apprentice, since we do run a good amount of darks, and spoke of it earlier with Anis Rocket, Link Karibo. And then the obvious newest card for the deck is Boral Load Savage Dragon. If this card is synchro summoned, you can equip 1 Link monster from your graveyard to this card, and if you do, place Boral counters on this card equal to that Link monster's Link rating. This card gains attack equal to half the attack of the monster equipped to it by its effect, and when your opponent activates a card or effect, it's a quick effect, you can remove 1 Boral counter from this card to negate the activation. You can only use the effect of Boral Load Savage Dragon once per turn. So having a negation with the deck definitely does help for sure. Really do like that they added a Synchro Edition for the Rocket deck, and with all the tuners and setup we run, very easy to summon this card out also. And then just for 1 more synchro option, I run 1 Black Rose Dragon. If you wanted to try out some other dark dragons just because of Rocket's synchrons limitation, you can try out Red Dragon Archfiend or some other dark dragons, just like the level 7 option with Frisson available to you. just for the destruction of the field as well. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.